violence is an epidemic.
Are you proposing taking away their guns?
Yes.
Enough prayers. Time for some action.
You want to take everyone's guns away.
Bingo. Enough prayers. Time for some action.
We're going to take your AR-15.
We're not going to give up. We'll find you.
Find you.
Yeah, it looks like she is up for re-election this year. Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, we don't have that much gun control stuff, but we do have just an update on the Uvalde thing. This is coming from abcnews.go.com. The headline is, Texas authorities, teacher did not leave door propped open before shooter entered school. Door was closed. Did not lock.
I'm so confused.
Okay.
Like, I read this headline that you sent to me because I haven't been tracking a lot of the Uvalde stuff because it seems so distractive. But I read the headline and I was like, okay, here, you take it. I don't know what's going on. What's the latest here?
You know what? And it's actually really messed up. This is the wrong article, too, because this is a one-sentence article, which just repeats the headline. That is weird.
Hey, propaganda.
Yeah, love
ABC.
it. Hold on. Let me find. Here's the CBS News version.
The headline, the subheadline, and the article itself is all the same sentence. What is going on here?
Yeah. It just seems like a robot picked it up and sent it in. Here, hold on.
Today, folks.
I'm going to replace this link for you.
Okay.
Yeah. So have you been paying attention?
No.
I mean, have you been following this?
No.
It is so weird. And, again, we have this battle of the explanation for Uvalde, because of course you've got the gun lobby involved, you've got the Occupy Democrats, the Democrat operatives, of course, are making it all about guns or not guns. You've got Beto, who's using it as a midterm tool. But now the investigation, instead of, whatever, I don't know. First there was the mix-up with the stories from law enforcement not matching up. You've got the law enforcement sitting back thinking that it was over, and meanwhile, the guy's still in there, barricaded, killing more kids. It's just a whole mess.
Any update on the two guys that were arrested? The two kids arrested, in 2018 that had plotted to do a school shooting in April of 2022?
I have not seen an update on that, no.
Great.
But this is
that would be
the
one
level.
that I'm curious about, But
Right, exactly. And instead of that, here's the level of updates we're getting. And it's like, look, we've seen it over and over. A shooting stays in the news for a couple of weeks and then disappears. We are like 1 week into this, and this is the type of conversation the investigation is going to. The Robb Elementary teacher who propped open an exterior door that law enforcement said a gunman used to get inside and kill 19 students and 2 teachers had closed the door, but did not lock, state police said Tuesday. Investigators initially said the teacher had propped the door open with a rock and did not remove it before Salvador Ramos, 18, entered the school in Uvalde, Texas on May 24th. Investigators have now determined that the teacher, who has not been identified, removed the rock and closed the door when she realized there was a shooter on campus, but that it did not lock, said Travis Considine, Chief Communications Officer.
My initial thing, it's got to be a legal thing here from the teacher.
Right. Well,
changing the story or some
we need
detail
to protect that teacher, because of course, if that teacher didn't close the door, then what a horrible way to be held responsible for this. Anyways, this was Travis Considine, Chief Communications Officer for the Texas Department of Public Safety. Considine said the teacher initially propped the door open, but ran back inside to get her phone and call 911 when Ramos crashed the truck. Quote, she came back. Yep.
That doesn't.
So she
was the guy already shooting in the car?
No.
What?
It'll explain. Hopefully, this article explains. The other one did until it was sabotaged. But so she was just working there. The teacher was working there. Had gone outside to pick up, to get some like food or cookies from her car or something. Mm-hmm. And that they have. Usually the doors are locked, and this door automatically locks during school hours. And so she propped it open with a rock because she was just going to come right back in. She opened the door, propped it open with a rock, took a couple steps, saw him jump the fence, after he had crashed his car, and she saw that he had a gun and then ran back inside, moved the rock, closed the door, and that's when the door should have locked. At least this is the current story. But again,
those things always lock on their own if they're supposed to. By the way,
allegedly, I mean, unless there's some janitor didn't have the lock in the right position or something, I don't know. Quote, she came back out while on her phone. She heard someone yell, "He has a gun." She saw him jump the fence and that he had a gun, so she ran back inside, removing the rock when she did, Considine said. He continued, quote, "We did verify she closed the door. The door did not lock. We know that much, and now investigators are looking into why it did not lock." San Antonio attorney Don Flannery told the San Antonio Express News that the Robb Elementary School employee, whom he's not naming, closed the door shut after realizing that the gunman was on the loose. Quote, she saw the wreck, Flannery told the newspaper. Quote, she ran back inside to get her phone to report the accident. She came back out while on the phone with 911. The men at the funeral home yelled, "He has a gun." She saw him jump the fence and he had a gun, so she ran back inside. Quote, she kicked the rock away, and when she went back in, she remembers pulling the door closed while telling 911 that he was shooting. She thought the door would lock because the door is always supposed to lock. The Texas Department of Public Safety also said Tuesday that Uvalde Police Chief Pete Arredondo had provided an initial interview, but has, quote, not responded to a request for follow-up interview with the Texas Rangers. That was made 2 days ago. Arredondo was elected to the Uvalde City Council on May 7th and was sworn in Tuesday, quote, out of respect for the families who buried their children today and who are planning to bury their children in the next few days, no ceremony was held. Uvalde Mayor Don McLaughlin said in a statement. Following reports that Arredondo would not be sworn in, McLaughlin said in a statement on Monday, quote, there is nothing in the city charter, election code, or Texas Constitution that prohibits him from taking the oath of office. To our knowledge, we are currently not aware of any investigation of Mr. Arredondo.
Okay. Weird place to end the article.
Right? Well, like, right. I don't even fully... So this was the... It. So the problem is that this Chief Pete Arredondo fella was the guy who was in charge of, or one of the fellas in charge of the police during the shooting. And, you know, of course, we know that the police, according to evidence and videos and witness testimony, the police were told to stand down and not go in and not do not go after the guy. In fact, when parents were going to take matters into their own hands, they got tased and arrested, and it was a whole thing. And so they kind of just stood around while the shooting was happening inside. And this Pete Arredondo fella was chief of police at the time. And but on the day, Tuesday, let's see here, it was a city council in May and was sworn in Tuesday. He was sworn in Tuesday. Was it? What's the date? Saying.
It's kind of weird.
Was it this Tuesday or was it last Tuesday?
Yeah, when?
It was this Tuesday. It was yesterday. He was sworn in. A week after the shooting, you know, where he should technically be under investigation for his calls, making bad calls. I mean, if nothing else, he made some bad calls. Yeah. And
so he's they're kind of dismissing it like, he was already elected.
Yeah, he's already elected. And they, I mean, thank God they chose not to have a ceremony, because that would have been a bad look. But yeah, according to the law as it stands, nothing prohibits him from, leaving the police chief thing.
I wonder if that's
position and going into city office.
I wonder if that's I don't know. It just seems like a lot of stoking of political fires when it comes to, because there's that, cancel the police.
Well, and that makes it so weird,
Yeah.
That makes it even weirder is the political angle, because he knew during the shooting last Tuesday that in 1 week, exactly 1 week, he was supposed to be sworn in after winning the election. So you got to wonder, did that have anything to do with his decision making? Did that, did it play any role? But the mayor is straight up saying, like, to our knowledge, we currently not aware of any investigation into Mr. Arredondo. Really? Nobody's investigating him. Nobody's investigating this whole thing. It's just weird, man.
Yeah, it's very strange, which is not a surprise. This kind of thing is always very strange, and I think it's supposed to be, but now, at least at this point.
The fact that the story now is not, hey, the police chief made bad calls and is now on city council or whatever. Look, I mean, city council is city council. It's not like he's becoming president or something. Right. But you mean there's no investigation into his actions? The biggest, school shooting since Sandy Hook, and there's not and mountains of evidence of the weird calls by the police, and by calls I mean decisions, judgments made by the police during that time. Nobody's investigating. Instead, we're investigating whether a door locked on its own or not. That is the direction of this investigation. It is bizarre, and I do not have an answer. I do not have an answer. I don't know what to say about it. It is just the weirdest direction that you could see this going in.
Is Arredondo, is he a Republican or a Democrat? Is it?
That's a great question. I don't know. We could do a quick little looky-loo.
Look here. Is it Johnny Arredondo?
Let's see here.
Here
Pete Arredondo.
Pete Arredondo. Here we go. Let's see.
Pete Arredondo, and he would be Uvalde, city council, I guess.
Right.
Let's do this. See. Pete Arredondo, political registration. Political.
My computer is so slow. I think he's a Republican.
Yeah, I mean, it's small town Texas.
Yeah,
there's a good chance. Yeah. And, again, being a Republican in small town Texas, you got to imagine that he's a two-way supporter, which is good. It's fine. Oh, here we go. Heavy.com. Pete Arredondo. Five fast facts you need to know. Oh, he's a POC. That's something we can see right off the bat here. Arredondo treated the active shooter as a barricaded subject. Yeah, we know that. Oh, Heavy, come on, do something good. Arredondo was just elected to the city council, promising to keep our streets clean. Okay. Arredondo was born in Uvalde and graduated from the local high school. Okay. Arredondo once worked as a 911 dispatcher. Okay. Fast facts. You mean useless facts. McCraw confirmed there was a 40-minute gap while Arredondo waited.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right. Well, that's just a hit piece on Arredondo.
Yeah, this is a nice hit piece on Arredondo, but he's already elected, and there he goes, man. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just, again, sort of obsessed with the way that the news media is handling the investigation happening. We've devolved to, did the teacher who went out to her car close the door or not? Okay.
Man, when I scour the social medias and see people's sentiment on this topic,
yeah.
The only solution, and I keep saying this, the only solution, like actual tangible solution, is a ratcheted up surveillance apparatus, whether it be at the school level, the gun level, doesn't matter. Like any level of surveillance will appease the masses for stopping gun issues or whatever.
That's why I'm wondering. I think this did the door close thing might be.
Yeah, that's the surveillance aspect. Oh, if we had cameras on there, we would know exactly what happened.
Well, I think the cameras did verify, although they didn't say, but I'm trying to think. I mean, if you really verify if the door closed, you need a camera on it or something. But I'm thinking that, the did the door close conversation is kind of part of the gun lobby strategy, Right. Well, it was, did it close first? Now it's did it lock? Because it doesn't matter if the guy had a gun or didn't have a gun. If the door didn't close, it's the door's fault. Which, there's
ban all doors, down with the doors.
Yeah,
we need more doors. We need laser.
We need more door budgets, man. Lock the doors. But it is not a entirely irrelevant conversation.
No, that's what I'm saying. There's a certain level of surveillance apparatus that seems to be a kind of solution to some of these issues. But
now, could could he have shot out the door or shot the window and reached in and done the door? You know,
Well,
I mean, that's
you know,
that's the other side of it. It's
a
like,
lot of
okay,
times.
there's other ways to get in.
According to movies, what you got to shoot the surveillance camera first, right? You got to shoot the camera unless you got someone on the inside that's replace the tape and it rolls some old footage.
The old Ocean's 11 switcheroo.
And then you just shoot the lock, and it doesn't matter. That's why get it to a military level, military grade.
We need some blast doors, some booby traps.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, that was another part of the conversation. Somebody was talking about booby traps. How we need to booby trap schools.
That'll be good. Every other
catchers.
day, they're bringing down kids that are hanging from their feet and caught in the rope. Ridiculous.
It's like a net that you step on it and the net swoops you up like in Hook.